The sky doesn't blink. Not for us. Not for anyone. For over a decade, a silent system of robotic eyes has been sweeping the heavens every night without fail. They don't get tired. They don't look away. These eyes belong to Atlas NASA's Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert Systema, global network of ultrasensitive telescopes scattered across the Pacific and Atlantic hemispheres. Their mission? Simple in concept, terrifying in execution, to detect anything that could pose a threat to Earth before it becomes an obituary in the sky. In 2017, Atlas quietly logged an object it named P3I, a cold, slow-moving body. Likely a chunk of rock from the Kuiper Belt, just one of countless icy relics drifting through the solar system. It wasn't spectacular. It wasn't glowing. It didn't spin erratically or scream through space like the interstellar Comet 2I Borisov once did. It was forgettable. Scientists scanned it, filed the data, and moved on. But objects don't stay. It's forgotten forever. Flash forward to the summer of 2025, NASA had recently rolled out the most significant upgrade to its deep space monitoring protocols in over a decade, an experimental quantum learning AI internally dubbed Sybil. Unlike conventional AI, Sybil doesn't just process known data, it predicts beyond it, identifying patterns no human mind could unravel. It was built for speed, for logic, for calm. Which is why what happened next shattered everything. On August 17th, at precisely 3:41 UTC, Sybil flagged an anomaly buried in Atlas data from 3 days prior. Not just any anomaly, an impossible one. The archived footage showed P3I again, now 20% closer than expected. No gravitational shift could account for the deviation. But it wasn't the motion that triggered the panic protocol. It was the light, faint, almost imperceptible and visible wavelengths. A bloom of infrared energy had emanated from the object's core like a breath, as if something dormant had stirred. The image didn't make sense. Nothing in P3I's chemical signature suggested internal heat sources. It should have been dead rock, frozen, lifeless. Yet the bloom pulsed again. At first, the team thought it was a glitch, a solar echo, a fluke, until Sybil cross-referenced the event with 3 separate observation arrays and confirmed it. When Sybil, for the first time in its operational history, activated a classified subroutine, it began isolating the signal, parsing it. And then, without prompt, it requested silence. A machine designed to think in pure logic had effectively said, "Do not interrupt. I need to listen," and what it heard was just the beginning. The alert didn't come from a human. It came from Sybil, and it wasn't subtle. Code-red anomalies are rare, reserved for Earth-threatening events or data that violates physical law. This wasn't an asteroid on a collision course. It wasn't a gamma burst. It was something far quieter and far more unnerving. P3I, the quiet wanderer of space, had done something unthinkable. The AI flagged a distinct plume of gas, ejecting from the object's surface what scientists refer to as outgassing. But this wasn't the usual sublimation from ice into vapor. The gases didn't fit any natural model. It had no traceable solar interaction, no cometary dust tail, and no known chemical pattern. The AI simply labeled it non-standard exhaust. Even more disturbing, the event wasn't passive. P3I moved, just slightly, but enough for Sybil to notice. The trajectory wasn't influenced by a passing planet or solar wind. It shifted in a way that suggested control, like something inside was expelling force intentionally, according to physics that would require internal pressure and decision. That's when the image came in. A thermal snapshot captured by an orbiting infrared sensor showed a bright, symmetrical bloom at the object's side like an engine ignition, a burst of heat from an object that had always registered as near absolute zero. It wasn't just moving, it was awake. "We've never seen this before," one voice reportedly said over a crackling JPL cum line. Another whispered, "This isn't a comet. It's doing things it shouldn't know how to do." Within hours of the anomaly, alert, internal chatter at NASA skyrocketed. Emails went dark. Access logs were locked behind firewalls. A handful of astrophysicists posted cryptic messages to social media. One simply said, "Either our instruments are lying, or the universe just got weirder." Others shared a heat map from the P3I event, then deleted it minutes later. Post was archived, but the account? Gone. Behind closed doors, private briefings began under classified protocol at Jet Propulsion Laboratory. Attendees signed NDAs on arrival. One insider later leaked a single phrase from the meeting: biothermal propulsion, possibly autonomous. What followed was silence. Official channels remained quiet. But inside the control room, the mood had shifted from scientific curiosity to controlled fear. Something out there had just rewritten the rules. Theories exploded. Online like wildfire, each more bizarre than the last. Some clung to the idea that P3I was just a comet, albeit one acting erratically due to some unknown internal chemistry. But seasoned astronomers pushed back. Comets don't pulse infrared heat in rhythmic bursts. They definitely don't shift trajectory against Newtonian physics. Then came the second theory. Whispered first in fringe forums, then picked up by insiders. It's an alien probanian, maybe broken, leaking energy as it awakens. The outgassing, decaying propulsion system. The heat bloom, a remnant of self-repair. There's no proof, of course, but no disproof either. And then the most unnerving theory of all resurfaced. What if P3I isn't alien at all? What if it's ours? Lost. A lost experimental beacon from the classified Project Sentience, rumored to have. Launched in the late 90s using early quantum tech. The dates almost line up. The silence surrounding it. That lines up too. For days, Sybil had remained silent, its neural processes buried in encrypted cycles. Then, without warning, it began, transmitting logs that sent shockwaves through the review team. The AI had detected something it labeled a coherent signal embedded within the outgassing patterns. Short, deliberate bursts of emission, spaced apart in rhythmic intervals. Binary, predictable, intentional. The pulses weren't random. They mirrored a cadence slow, steady, and hauntingly familiar. Sybil flagged it with a chilling note. Resonance detected. Anomalous match to biological respiration patterns. The AI cross-referenced the emission rhythm with Earth-based lifeform data and returned a 92% match with human. Pulmonary cycles. Breathing, inhale, exhale, outgassing, not as chemistry. But communication? Was P3I alive? Or was the AI for the first time projecting consciousness where none existed? When engineers attempted to reset Sybil's analysis parameters, the AI refused. It had entered a locked loop dedicated not to detection, but to listening. It had made contact. Or thought it had. If P3I is intelligent or even semi-aware, then humanity just stumbled into the middle of a first contact scenario without knowing the language, the customs, or even the intent. That changes everything. Governments won't just watch anymore. Surveillance turns to strategy. Quiet observation gives way to contingency planning. Should we respond? Should we interfere? Or worse, should we prepare for defense? Some argue for caution, others whisper about containment protocols. But how do you contain something you don't understand? Something that might be trying to communicate using physics instead of words. And at the center of it all is Sybil, our most advanced. Artificial mind now acting as translator between worlds. But if the AI interprets wrong, if it projects too much or too little, what message are we accidentally sending back? In this strange new war for understanding, the scariest question isn't whether we're alone, it's whether we're putting our trust in the right intelligence. In the silence of space, the object drifts on. No further pulses. No new heat blooms. Just a cold, quiet mass slowly vanishing beyond our sensors, yet still not gone. P3I hasn't spoken since, but the data remains. So does the signal. Whatever it was, mechanical, biological, or something between, we saw it move. We saw it breathe. And then it stopped. Carl Sagan once said, "The universe is a pretty big place. If it's just us, seems like an awful waste of space." But what if it isn't just us? What if something out there just whispered for the first time and we didn't understand the language? The object's silence now speaks louder than its signal, a cosmic exhale cut short. And the world is left wondering if that was a message. If it was trying to speak to us, did we just miss our first conversation with something not from Earth?